Hey there folks, RJB here with some RJB TV goodness, because I've got Brain, as you can see in the title, Brain against FourFiveEight, ready to show off, show down, and bring us that good, great StarCraft fastest map action, which was played in... Actually, I think it was played in February or April of 2022. I was not aware that 1v1 Chogosu was Brain, but somehow I found out. So we got Brain here on the name 1v1 Chogosu against FourFiveEight here on the bottom left of the map. Both players on the left side, actually. So we have had some more Brain against FourFiveEight matches on the channel. Not a lot. It's very difficult to get your hands on games with Brain, but when I do get my hands on them, or I find out I've got some lying around, casting them will be the first thing that I do. So this week we've had, well, last week we've had San Francisco against FourFiveEight. This week, correction, last week we had Brain against San Francisco. This week we have FourFiveEight against Brain. So a lot of Brain this week, or this month, and I sure hope that this game is going to deliver the hype that we've all come to love from these games between these two masters of the StarCraft. So what does 1v1 Chogosu mean? 1v1 of course means 1 against 1. That's kind of obvious, you know, I don't have to tell you. You already know that. But Chogosu means... Gosu means the higher hand. The high hand. Basically, I'm not sure what it comes from, to be honest. It just means that someone is really good at something. And Chogosu is that someone is the best among the people who are really good at something. So Brain is basically saying that he is the best player in 1v1. And whether he is, that's up for you to decide. Maybe you think it's FourFiveEight. Maybe you think it's Burkasasu. Maybe you think it's Mitchell. Maybe you think it's someone completely different than all the names I've listed. I do know that Brain is definitely one of the best, and in my book, he might be the best. So, we went for that 8 supply barracks bull order that it gives him the option to send out that marine very early before there's cannons up in the front, but FourFiveEight has been playing it safe by going for Gateway Nexus that allows him to get at least one zealot up before the marines arrive at his front door to kill the cannons. It's an adaptation he felt forced to make because he kept losing his choke to cheesy build orders, and this is basically the anti-cheese build order. You get a gateway, you get a nexus, you get a forge, and then you get a choke while you have a couple of zealots to support the choke. So Brain here being very aggressive with the marines and the SCV pool to try and kill the choke, and they're going to finish up. Oh no, it didn't work. It did not work, and this is going to cost Brain a bunch of income in the early game. Now, if there's a person who can recover from losing that income from pulling 4 or 5 SCVs to the front of that choke, if there's someone who can recover from that, it's probably Brain. He's also already going for a command center. He stopped production from his barracks to save up some money for the refineries and the command center, going for double refinery very early into the game. That's going to cut his income even more, but he knows what he's doing. So getting an engineering baiter on the bottom, he's going to float that into FourFiveEight's base to see what he's building, to see the timing, so that he can adjust his own timings accordingly to FourFiveEight's timings with his buildings and structure. So he knows what he's doing. So he always knows what FourFiveEight is doing. FourFiveEight there getting a pylon on the top side there so that he can see a barracks flying in and landing, because Brain sometimes likes to do the stim upgrade firebat run-in onto the probes, and FourFiveEight has lost to it a couple times, and he's not going to lose to it again. So he's covering, both players are covering all their options. Both players are covering all their options, although that's a lot of zealots. One still there in the front, not joining the party. So we had about 12 marines against about 5 zealots. 5 zealots can kill 12 marines, but I don't think Brain's going to let that happen. He's got great micro. Like, look at the small little movements he's making to try and mitigate the damage and maximize his own damage output against those zealots. The medics are now entering the scene as well. Stim almost finished up, factory on the way, and getting triple firebat as well. He's just gonna go straight for the SCV. He's gonna try to kill 1 or 2 SCVs with Brain, pulling the SCV away to safety, and there's a medic healing it up as well. He probably won't really get a single kill here with those Zealots. He killed some Marines, but lost 4 Zealots. 1 Zealot there in the front. Engineering Bay flying over. He sees the double Robo. No Citadel. The Robos are not being built on the front. A lot of players like building their Robos in the front. Brain is not doing that this time around. Keeping the Robos here further away from the hillside because Brain can put tanks on this hillside. And if the Robos are built right here in the front, the tanks can kill the Robos. Important detail in his play. Getting more cannons as he saw that Brain was going for FourFiveEight Marine Medic, which means he might try to break through that choke. Also got a factory on the way with siege mode. He might put the tank there on the corner, might put it there in the front, or keep it here back at home. Engineering Bay there has retreated a little bit. Support Bay there on the way, getting 2 more gateways for a little bit more gateway production. He's got 2 already finished up, 1 in the front, 1 in the back, 2 more on the way. Getting shuttle speed now as well. Surprised to see FourFiveEight not going for Zealot speed. He's going to go for slow Zealot attacks there in the front. Going to do a little bit of poking around to put some pressure onto Brain to make sure Brain is not just comfortably building up his defenses. But FourFiveEights there are party pooping the Zealots' plans. FourFiveEights are just really good against those Zealots. So here's the bunker on the corner. Going to put that tank right there, right next to it, and shoot across the hill and try to kill those cannons right here. I'm surprised to see that he didn't move his Marines and FourFiveEights into position right here to try and push and break through. He's going to be annoying and shoot from across the hill while defending his own main base. Vision there set up on the top side of the map in case FourFiveEight flies all the way around instead of just flying over the short side, because usually the short side is very well protected. And by putting your Marines or just units in general across the map for vision, you can locate most of your Marines on the bottom of your base and only move them to the top side when stuff is flying in from the top side. Allows him to concentrate his defenses on his, I wouldn't say his weakest spot, but on the easiest spot to fly in from for FourFiveEight. So everything here located in the front and on the back side. And on the bottom side, of course. Nothing on the top side. No defenses whatsoever. So that's 1 armory. We have 2 shuttles, 3 shuttles. So it's going to be 8 Zealots and 2 Reavers for the drop. Gonna wait for the Corsair, maybe ignore the Corsair. The choke there taking damage slowly over time. Factor number 3 there on the way, getting an engineering bay there for vision on the high ground. There's a starport for a drop. He's gonna try to get a tank drop in. There's a spot to land right here, maybe right there, maybe here on the bottom side. There's 3 cannons there, only 2 cannons covering this section, so this is the best spot to drop from with a tank drop. Now 48 SCVs against 57 probes, shuttle there flying over the right side of the map. So he is not going to use the short side. Most players would just try to force the short side drop because it's just so quick. You can fly in over the hill, arrive in the base really easily. Get spotted out there by the early warning system of Marines, which means the Marines in the base are moving in to snipe the shuttles. The shuttles are a little bit too fast. Reavers all over on the top side, and this is going to be a bloodbath. Marines are surrounding the Reavers. Reavers getting fired on from every single direction. A little bit of Reaver Shuttle Micro. Stays alive, goes down, cannot quite do anything with that drop except kill some Marines. Would have liked to do a bit more damage, but FourFiveEight is not just gonna cry about that one because that drop didn't do much. The drop not doing much against Brain, usually a bad sign. You really just want to hit him hard as soon, as fast as you can, but Brain's defenses are usually almost airtight. He makes the most happen with the least possible units. It's very difficult to beat this guy without really doing much damage with those drops. You gotta hit him, and FourFiveEight is trying his hardest to make that work specifically. He's now gonna load up a couple more of those Reaver shuttles. High temples in the mix as well. Tanks on the high ground here being highly annoying. It's basically taking away FourFiveEight's entire top section of his base. You might have to go for a proxy base. We have Marines on the map that will see that being built. Love vision control on the map there from Brain. Shell there still on the top side, empty, drop flying out, finds a good corner, finds a good angle. He saw this with the vision from the Corsair earlier, so flies it over the bottom side, the short side. Marines and Firebats moving into position to try and snipe, but Templar's unloading. Templar's not getting sniped. Templar's storming on the high. Templar's storming, but missing the SCVs. SCV's still running back and forth, waiting for the last remaining Templars to get killed. And FourFiveEight can't quite, yet again, do any damage to Brain's economy. Brain still looking strong, looking fine. Got double armory now, getting upgrades for ground, armor, and attack. Level 1 attack just finished up, actually, for those tanks. So that's a pretty good upgrade there to start with. Marines has 0-0, so he didn't go for level 1 attack for Marines to help him snipe the shuttles. Another drop comes in over the bottom side. Marines are ready to snipe. Templar's unloading. Templar's too far away from the SCV. Storms for the Marines instead. SCV's once again running to safety. Tank drop coming in there onto FourFiveEight. Tanks unloading. A lot of tanks on the scene. That's a lot of tanks. I count 6 of them in total. And that's a huge probe shot. Went down from about, I think he had about 75, now down to 21. It was a really good tank drop. Exactly what FourFiveEight had to prevent from happening. And exactly what Brain had to make happen to really put FourFiveEight in a very compromised position where things are not looking too great for him. Drop comes in yet again over the bottom side, short side drop as he's running to safety. And there's no... oh, it's Reavers on the top side there. There's nothing here to defend against those Reavers. Tanks are rolling from the front to the back. Does not have a lot of tanks. Oh, this is a lot of damage there. Reavers there, going to shoot on those tanks. Tanks can take it down. Oh, FourFiveEight with a really good response to the tank drop from earlier. All the Marines are dead and gone. Got a couple of tanks that are still ready to defend. Unloading there and killing the tanks. Oh, the tank actually stays alive. Try to get one more shot off. Almost SCVs, and he gets the shot. He gets the money shot. Brain was a little bit too impatient pulling those SCVs back to the minerals, and FourFiveEight almost evens up the game. That was the one thing Brain had to prevent, because he was in a comfortable lead. He had 70 workers against 21 probes. That was looking like a one game for Brain, but FourFiveEight with some really good Reaver Shuttle Micro there on the scene, on location, next to the minerals there, manages to get himself back into the race. He's got triple Nexus, so he's recovering quite nicely. Drop over the front side, EMP on the shuttles, very smart move, but there's not enough Marines to kill all those shuttles or High Templars as he's running to safety. High Templars too far away. High Templar blocked in by his own friends, trying to get close to his SCVs. SCVs are stuck in a corner. Storms in the SCVs, hits the tank. Oh, he's running through the storm. One more High Templar there, ready to storm, gets a couple more kills. That's a total of about, I can't see how many kills, but I think that's about 11 or 12. That's a great drop. Brain down to 30 SCVs. Things are looking grim. Things were looking really good just earlier, but now things are looking pretty bad. 62 supply. Archon killing the last couple of Marines. Another drop there comes in over the bottom side. Templars on the scene. Templars, 3 Templars ready to storm, hitting pretty much all of them. Oh, he dodges it. But still lost 9 SCVs, down to 21, 18 minerals in total in the bank. Got a couple of tanks ready to defend. Does not have much to defend with. The supply is as low as it's ever been. FourFiveEight is honorable. Another storm comes down. That is dirty. That's dirty. Another 8 kills there. 15 SCVs left alive. Wow, FourFiveEight, you are on fire. This has been the most damage I've seen Brain take in such a short amount of time ever in my entire life. FourFiveEight with really good control on each of those last 3 drops. The control was amazing. Brain didn't have much to defend with. As I said before, he's trying to make the most happen with the least possible units, and this time around it's backfiring really hard because he's bleeding. He's bleeding profoundly. There's blood everywhere, all over the place, and he doesn't have a means to stop it. It's 19 SCVs, 52 supply against 166 supply from FourFiveEight and 68 probes. Another drop there being loaded up. He's got a small base, but even with this small base, he's ahead in the race. He's setting the pace and making Brain bleed. He's hitting him really hard. He's loading up a really big drop, a big fat drop, a big fat package ready to go right into that backside here that Brain is now trying to fortify with the little bit of money he's got left. and a little bit of supply he's got remaining. There's 3 bunkers filled up, he's got 2 barracks he's not producing, he's got factories making some tanks. We have 1-1 there on those gateway units. We have 2 more forges right there, getting weapon and shield. Level 2, not getting armor yet. Proxy bases are being built for gateways on the right side of the map, because there's tanks on the high ground here that are making it impossible to walk through this choke point. So instead of just walking through the choke point, he's going to build his army here and send them from the right side into Brain's choke and try to break it. So there's a lot of time in between that last hard-hitting drop from 458 and this one. But this is a big one. This is a big one. 11 shuttles filled up, completely full. Goes in over the bottom side. It's going to be a very big drop. He even says something in the chat. And that's a lot of units. Will this be enough though? Oh yeah, that command center is going to go down. The command center is going to get taken down. Zealots everywhere. Tanks unsieging, because if they siege up, they're going to hurt their own command center. But the command center gets taken down. SCVs returning back to the minerals. And lost a couple of SCVs as well to splash damage from those 2 tanks, as Zealots are still right there on the scene. But Brain, no command center there. Well, he's got 3, but no main. Lifting up his barracks is not sure if that's going to work, because he needs cheap, easily replaceable units to defend himself against this aggression from 458, who's over 100 supply ahead. Has a way bigger base, a lot more production, and is so far ahead in the race that I don't know if Brain can even make a comeback at this point. This looks impossible. Don't think I've ever seen anyone make a comeback from this situation. Tanks on that high ground surely are annoying, but they're not really doing much. 458 has handled those tanks really well by simply ignoring that they even exist. Drop there, going over the top side. The top side is pretty much unprotected. There's a big, wide open hole right here to fly in from. Goliaths and Marines in between to snipe that and kill it. So he goes in, he's going to unload right here on the top side. He's going to unload and kill whatever he can, because anything dying for Brain is terrible. Anything dying is terrible. And now there's a lot of free real estate ready to burn down as a drop comes in over the bottom side, ready to kill those SCVs, unloading on the scene. Chasing down those SCVs, going to try to hit them with the High Templar. EMP there on the shuttles and the Zealots. There's just stuff all over his base, killing other stuff. He's unloading his Zealots on the tanks, unsieges his own tanks to stop the splash damage from happening on those SCVs. Stuff on his top side is still alive. There's 2 High Templars with Storm Energy. They might just walk up slowly and kill. Although not a drop over the bottom side, flying in much quicker than those Templars could ever walk on the scene, storming those SCVs and kills pretty much all of them yet again. Actually, they are still alive. Look at how little HP those SCVs got. Just 1 more storm and a lot of them will go down. He needs a medic on the scene. Please, we need a doctor to patch up those poor SCVs. They're burning, they're hurting. The storms have not been too kind. So 458 forgot these Templars exist. They're gonna get taken down. Another drop, they're being loaded up there over the bottom side. These drops from 458 have been lethal so far. Absolutely lethal. And look at the amount of gateways here on the right side. So we got 13 gateways there, ready to produce, ready to go, ready to break this front door, ready to bake the cookies. I'm not sure what I wanted to say. Ready to bake the cookies. He's gonna bake the cookies, my friends. He's gonna bake a cake, bake the cookies, bake the pizza. It's all hot in the oven. So they're kind of just ignoring those tanks. I think they have 2 upgrades already, unloading behind the hill there. Behind the hill, behind the bunkers, behind the depot line, storming on the tanks. Tanks stepping aside. It's a very big wall. No Marines in the bunkers. He's gonna have to defend with just those tanks and Goliaths against an overpowering, overwhelming force of Zealots with pretty good upgrades. 1-2 on the tanks. Oh, he relocated his tanks to the high ground there to the choke, but now the backside is under attack yet again. It's everything getting attacked all the time, everywhere, everything all at once. EMP on the Templar, but too late, storming on the SCVs. SCVs do go down. That's a lot of kills there. That's 18. This one has 1, 3. Another storm comes down, but that one hits nothing. So yeah, he killed about 15, I'd say. things really are looking bad for Brain. 19 minerals in the bank, 89 supply, 24 SCVs. Yeah, FourFiveEight is barbecuing him alive. He's baking the burgers. Although there's no burger sauce, but he's baking the burgers, and Brain is not liking the flavor. He's not liking the flavor. No, FourFiveEight, though, he's pretty satisfied about it. It's medium rare, or is it overcooked? I don't know, but it's good. It is good. So now that proxy gateway base finally getting some use, he scans the middle, sees the units coming in. It's very weak choke drop comes in yet again, storming on those high tanks. Storming on those tanks. These tanks are under attack by Dragoons that are missing most of their shots. The Storms are just killing all the supply behind the wall. Templar's doing a great job of softening up those Goliaths. Great micro there on display from Brain, but Brain calls GG because he knows he does not have what it takes to defend against this army. It's going to get replenished very soon by another wave of gateway units. Brain got smoked, and FourFiveEight displays that yes, he is in fact one of the best players, at least one of the best Protoss players in Protoss against Terran, because not many players, not many people can beat Brain Protoss against Terran in a fashion like this.